Brightburn movie review. Heroes are overrated. So Brightburn is basically a reverse take on this standard Superman origin story where this superpowered child turns out to be evil and uses people to hurt and harm others. The concept was one that seemed very promising to me, but the way it was developed was just so underbaked. It, it includes a lot of real life physics of what would happen if Superman hit you with heat vision or if Superman flew in at you from top speed, which makes for a lot of interesting kills and stuff. The acting is pretty good from everyone for the most part, but like I said, this concept is just so underdeveloped and underbaked. The main character, Brandon Breyer, aka Brightburn, he keeps saying he wants to be a good person and that he wants to do good things, but we've never actually seen him do any of that stuff. We've never seen him do anything that makes him acting out like this so jarring. The only thing we can gather, the only thing we see is that he raised his hand and answered a question once in class and everyone made fun of him for being a know-it-all. So him acting out is not developed well here. Now, some background information about me. Horror movies and thriller movies are not something I typically go out to watch or something I am interested in. But I believe that the characters should remain the same. Like, you need to have a very clear grasp of why this character is doing what he does and what his motivation and his direction is. And, well, if we're talking, you kind of get that with Freddy Krueger, you get that with Chucky, you get that with Pennywise, you get that with Candyman, a bunch of other horror characters. You understand why they do what they do, but with this character, you don't know why. Aside from the fact that it is in his genetics, it's in his programming, which makes it really lame and weak. The film starts off with a bunch of infertility books, hitting you over the head with the fact that Roy from The Office and Elizabeth Banks are not able to have kids yet. That's when Brandon's ship crash lands on their farm. After some Super 8 footage of Brandon as a baby, the film immediately fast forwards to him at 12 years old without any rhyme or reason. Brandon starts off as a model kid until he hears strange alien voices from the ship that he came in. Another thing that probably would have made this movie better is it would have made so much more sense as if instead of landing at discount mom Pa Kent's farm, Brandon crashed into someone's yard and they turned out to be extremely abusive. So that way, when he started acting out, when he started hurting people, you could understand why. So it's not really clear when Brandon starts hurting and attacking people as if it's his own volition or if it's all the voices from the ship. As a horror film, I didn't find it that scary, but some scenes are intense and it made me turn my head a few times. Most notably when Roy and Elizabeth Banks find pictures of women under his bed, but then it goes to pictures of organs. It almost made me throw up. I have a bit of a tender stomach. I get that Elizabeth Banks couldn't have kids and she is grateful that Brandon crash landed on their farm, but she's still oblivious to the fact that Brandon is not normal. I get that there are parents out there that think their child is perfect and can do no wrong, but At some point, you've got to put two and two together. At the end of the day, Brightburn had an excellent premise at its disposal, but couldn't quite deliver on it. I'm sure James Gunn will make a sequel in the near future, or someone will take another crack at this, because Superman and Batman are going to be on public domain in a few years, and that likely means someone will try to make a movie where it's but they kill people and decide that that's enough, like they've done with Winnie the Pooh and a bunch of other public domain characters now. People were hoping that this would kick off a dark superhero universe, but sadly it was just not meant to be. How did you feel about Brightburn? Please let me know.